Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Allure of the Poor, sponsored by Dresita Wines. I am so excited today because I love when something happens and then it turns into a learning moment, and then you go to dive deep into finding out something new. And that is exactly what this podcast is about today. So, about a month ago, I received a sample of Chardonnay from Ettore, which I'm hoping I say that right, um, in Mendocino County. And they do this really cool process that I had never heard of before. So that has led us to today and my guest, Sophia Riviere, to talk about the Puro Vino system and how this is so involved in their wine making process. So welcome, Sophia.
Thank you very much, Lori. Hi, everybody.
So before we get into that system, let's just talk a little bit about you and the winery and everything. So how did you come into the wine world? I pretty much think you grew up in it. I was reading your bio, but it seems like you kind of grew up into it.
Yes, I am originally from Argentina. I grew up there. My family is originally from Switzerland, from the French-speaking part. My grandfather moved to Argentina, and he started making wine there. So we own a winery and vineyards. My dad is actually he's taking care of that. And then I study agronomy, agriculture in Argentina, in Mendoza, wine region, and that is very focused in wine and viticulture in general. So, and then I moved to Switzerland, and there I did a master's degree in viticulture and enology, and then I met Ettore. I finished my studies, and he was looking for somebody to start making wine in California. And he was very excited. He told me, "I want to make wine in California. The grapes are great. We love the vineyard that we have there. So I would like you to go there, visit." And this is what I did. I came here and I fell in love with the region. People here very nice too. So, and it was like a very interesting project. Start making our own wine here. So since 2018, we have been making wine together. The winery is a small winery. It was new, built in 2018, and we have 35 acres of organic vineyard. Also, the winery is certified organic, and we have been making this wine since then.
That must have been, I mean, I give people who do that so much credit. It's got to be kind of a scary, even though exciting, but scary thing to just pick up and leave your country. Like it's scary enough to go to another state for us, but to go way across to another country, that must have been exciting but scary.
Yeah, exactly. It was like the big change for me was to go to Switzerland, and after being so many years in Argentina, even if I had a family there, it was a whole change and start again school and then work there. So it was challenging, and then I don't know. I think I there was something special here because I didn't think it too much at that time. I say, okay, I'm jumping it, and also, yeah, I think it is scary in some way because it's everything you have to start from zero, and you don't know people. Language was a very very at that time, pronunciation, also to understand how, well, every time that you're going to a new place, viticulture wise is challenging because you have to understand what you have, what are the potentials of the soils or the microclimate, and also start from zero with a new group. The winery was pretty new, so it was also to test all the machines, um, work together as a team, today, the guys here, me, and so, but it was just great. I mean, it's so far so good. It's been very exciting, but it was scary in some way also because you ask yourself a lot of questions. Is this the right way? We can do better, and of course every year you improve something, and you have the variable of weather that you cannot control. So every year is something new. It's like the fires, um, the drought. So, but yeah, we have been surviving very well here.
That's fantastic. And now for my listeners that may not know where Mendocino County is, so can you tell us like where it's located? How big is it? Like,
So Mendocino County is like 2 hours north from San Francisco. So you have Napa as a one region, Sonoma, and then Mendocino. Mendocino is known now for also we have a lot of people making organic. They're focusing on organic production, and yeah, there's a lot to discover here. It's quite different from Napa and Sonoma, and it's more rustic, and there's a lot to discover here. That's why I like it so much. The area is like a little bit unknown, and there's a lot to develop, and there's already a lot of people making wine here. They have been making wine for years, but I guess like people are where I mean tourism was more focused in Napa and Sonoma. Now they're just starting to come over here.
and like, what is your climate in Mendocino County?
Oh yeah. So and during the summers is
Depending on the day, right?
yeah, yeah, but the summers are very hot usually, and we have well, here we have like a special situation at the vineyard. We're close to Duncan Peak. Duncan Peak has brings the humidity during the night, and so we have during the summer we have hot days, and then the nights are cooling down. So I think that makes something special for our cab. What else I can say? Well, we have the rain. It's pretty much it's similar to Napa. They're not so big difference. Maybe it's hotter in this area than over there, but well, Napa you have different valleys, so um, I don't know what else you want me to.
No, that's all good. And then you produce quite a bit of varieties. You have I tasted the Chardonnay, the pure Chardonnay. You do a Merlot, you do a Cab, and a Rosso. What is in the Rosso?
So the Rosso is a blend of Cabernet, Merlot, and Petit Verdot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in the Chardonnays we offer three different products. So we have the Chardonnay Reserve, that is a oak Chardonnay, and then we do two stainless steel Chardonnay. That one is made with the technique that you mentioned, the Puro Vino method. And then in the rest we have the Cabernet Signature and the Rosso, that is a blend, and then the Merlot that is also made with the technique of Puro Vino method.
And so inside Mendocino County, there's like 10 AVAs, which I had no clue there were 10 AVAs in Mendocino County. I was like, wow, that I guess I didn't realize how big it is, or maybe it's just smaller AVAs. Like, how large is, when you take all those AVAs and put them together, how large is Mendocino County?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
Like, well, not necessarily the actual acreage. Like, can you compare it to another region?
No, I wouldn't. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. I just was curious if if Mendocino, like if you were entering Mendocino County and then driving out the other side of Mendocino County, is it close? Is it like hours?
Oh, from one county to the other, you mean?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's like if you want to go, we're in Sonoma in 30 minutes. So then we are like we are at in Hopland. You drive and we are not far, and we're like 1 hour and a half from Anderson Valley. That's one of the.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, Anderson Valley has a really good Pinot Noirs. I mean, this area is famous. But we're like, yeah, if we take the Mountain Top Road and 128, we arrive to Boonville, and that area is Anderson Valley. That's one of the regions of known by wine.
Okay, so there's 10 like there's AVAs within there, but they're not large AVAs.
No, they're not huge. They're small. Yeah, I wish I have them up here, but yeah, I have visited a few, and they are not super large. I probably Anderson Valley is one of the largest, but I'm not. I don't dare to say.
And where is Ettore located?
Ettore is located in Hopland. So Hopland, to give you an idea, is between Ukiah and Geyserville. Well, Geyserville is already it's already Sonoma.
Right.
So before we have Hopland, and the next village is Cloverdale. There also they make wine too. Then you have Geyserville, Galesburg,
Okay.
but that part is Sonoma. So we are Hopland is on the 120. It's on 101, and then the next village is Ukiah.
Okay. Okay. That gives a good picture. That
Yeah.
gives a good picture. And now, so you had mentioned that you have a degree in agriculture engineering.
Yep.
So what does that entail?
So it's very useful. In fact, in the agriculture engineer in Mendoza, you see many things. You see food production, you see animal production. But since I was in Mendoza, it was mostly focusing. I mean, it was very focused on vineyard and viticulture and enology. So we could start working already as an enologist in Mendoza. And being an engineer, basically you just learn how to solve problems in all the areas. So if you're with animal production, with viticulture and enology, you're just the logic goes to solving problems. So here I can apply it a lot because since it's a small facilities, small vineyard and winery, I work in both areas. So we'll have, like now we're seeding a cover crop before the rain, preparing the soil. And so before that we were fertilizing. At the same time, we're at the winery. Today we're pressing. So the engineer, you apply all every day because you have knowledge about how we make the wine and also how to manage the vineyard. But also we study like all the products that you can apply if you have any pest or any disease. You study the soil. Of course, then you can be more specific. So in Switzerland, doing the master degree allows me to go into more into details in certain things. But agriculture was pretty intensive in that regard. You know, you see all the processing also very in detail. In the winemaking, the whole technique. Then, of course, in Switzerland was more focus in the Swiss viticulture and the techniques that they use over there, and the great varieties that they have. The same here. When I came here, I was also working with Jim Milon, another winemaker, and I could learn the techniques here and also what the taste of the wines that they like. Of course, different customers, different groups, all the winemaking styles, like the oak Chardonnay. So if you go out and you start traveling, that I know that you have already, but you can see different styles and different tastes in people, so they don't like the same. Mm-hmm. And so that's the interesting part for me. You know, it was like after learning agriculture engineering and have this big backpack of tools, start applying it, but also adding new things like the culture of the people, the taste, also what they eat. So in agriculture engineer also, it has a lot of practice. So we were also like, for example, going and pruning outside. It was not only theory, it has a lot of things in hand.
Hands-on.
So you go and do that. And it gives you a big overview about many things about agriculture in general. So that allows you to move easily, you know, when maybe you don't have all the answers, of course, but you know how to get it. That's for me like the big thing with agriculture is like the engineering. It's like they give you the tools to go and get your answers.
I remember I was in high school and my science teacher said that there's two types of knowledge, and then knowledge how to get the answer to, and there, it's good to know things, but it's actually really more important to know how to get to the answer that you need to get to. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
really true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Also, the knowledge that you just get by experience, that's very important. I really enjoy working here with people because they have a know-how from years, and that's something that at school or well, it's not easy to get. It's like you have to spend time with people and then share with them, and that's I think it's great.
Right, absolutely. And now, so let's talk about the winery itself. So tell us about Ettore's story. We talk, tell us how the name got started. And what was your first wine, the case production, things like that.
Okay, yeah, so the story started like I think in 2015 when he came the first time here, and he looked at the place and he just started dreaming with it, just saying I would like to make wine here. And 2018 it just materialized, building the winery, and he had to put a group together to start making the wine. So the idea was to make wine with California grapes, but have an Italian touch, an European touch. We wanted to make something very specific, like, and the reds we wanted, reds are like not over structured or too heavy. I wanted to make reds that are drinkable, that you open a bottle and you want to keep drinking. It's not heavy, it's like it's not sweet and structured. I wanted something light with high acidity, elegant, and that's what we have been looking for. Of course, every year we learn new things. So also working at the vineyard, understanding better the behavior of the plant, the weather condition. So every year have been like open book to learn about it. So Ettore, we met in Switzerland, and I moved here, and we started to make wine together with a small group of people that was helping us to make it happen. Everything we handpick, the vineyard certified organic by CCOF. So every year we go through the inspections, and then also we declare every product that we're using in advance, so that we have to have the permit to use it. And we started making, we did all the same wines that we have until now. We did we wanted to have 3 Chardonnay, the possibility for people to taste oak Chardonnay, the ones that they are oaky lovers. So the reserve Chardonnay that we have is 18 months on new barrels. And then we make 2 different Chardonnay that comes from different plot selection.
So the Reserva is the 18 months in oak?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That one is French oak. And then the other 2, as you mentioned already, is the Chardonnay Pure and the Chardonnay Zero.
Okay, so we're going to save the zero because we're going to talk about that in a second. So this is the pure. So
yeah.
Okay.
And the pure come from we do plot selection, and we ferment it separately, so we can have the specific taste from each plot. We have 4 blocks, and those blocks we have 2 young Chardonnay, that's 2013, and then 2 plots that are 1995 and 98. And we have found a different profile, and we wanted to ferment it differently. So we do that. All our wines do malolactic fermentation.
Okay.
And then, in the case of the Chardonnay Reserve, we're going to, after the fermentation, we're going to rack it into barrels. And the others, we, like the pure, what we do is like we start, we decide by tasting the blend and which are the lots that are going to be part of the pure. And in the case of the zero, we can talk later, as you said, and I can explain how. And for the reds, we do, we pick up first the Merlot, then the Cabernet, and then the Petit Verdot.
Okay.
We're going to ferment it, of course, separately, and then we decide also the blend, which are the parts, the lots that are going to be part of the Rosso, of the Cab signature, and then we keep having the same technique through the aging in barrels. We're going to do tasting of barrels and say, okay, this barrel we like more the profile of this one for the cab and other for the rosso.
Okay. And then so when I tasted the pure, it was a beautiful golden straw color. I got pear and apricot aromas, and then it was like a medium bodied and medium acidity, and like the aromas were like it followed through the aromas followed through into the flavors. So it was a nice, well-rounded wine. And I love the pears and the apricots in there. So let's talk about the rosso. So this is the rosso, and I have this open to this way. I have this open to taste, and now you said it's got Petit Verdot.
Yeah,
but you don't make a Petit Verdot.
No, we're thinking because we really like it by itself too. The Petit Verdot has a very deep color. It's beautiful. It's violet, very intense.
Yeah.
And when you're fermenting it, it's very it has very deep color, and then also aromas. I really like it. It's like most like going through the dark fruit, dark cherry, and it's very nice when you're fermenting it and then see the transformation. And also in the rosso, they push a lot. I mean, it like yeah, pushing the whole structure of the blend, because the cab the cava has a lot of personality. The merlot is a little bit more shy, but the three together we try to do something like elegant and nice.
It's the color. How much Petit Verdot do you? I know I didn't ask you for a tech sheet there and there, but do you know off the top of your head how much Petit Verdot is in here?
Let's say that usually we try to do 50% of, just to give you more or less an idea, 50% of cab and 25 and 25.
Okay.
But
the color is very Petit Verdot.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really show up very well on the camera here. I mean, in a podcast, nobody can see it anyway, but the color is very Petit Verdot. But the nose has a little, that little, the dark fruit that a Petit Verdot has, or the cap. So
yeah, usually also we have more cab than Petit Verdot. So in the proportion, it will be always a little bit less of Petit Verdot than cab. But as I was saying before, the Petit Verdot is intense and very predominant sometimes. When you have it in barrels, it can develop like a great chocolate, dark fruit, cherry. Yes, it's very powerful. The cab is it's more elegant, if you want. It's like intensity wise, is medium intensity compared with a Petit Verdot. But it has high complexity, the cab that we have here. And then we have found out we have 4 blocks of cab. We have only one plot of Petit Verdot. And the 4 blocks, they present already differences. It's like the block 2 and 3 are going to be more concentrate, and the aromas are the color are more concentrated than the cab 4. Cab 4 is like has bigger bunches. It's very fruity. When we're fermenting it, it's like the aromas are very like alive, but it's more fruity than the cab 2 and 3. The cat 2 and 3, what I have noticed so far when we do fermentation, also goes after fermentation, it can go more to the spiciness side compared with the cat 4.
So this to me has like some dark fruit. There's a little bit of chocolate. There's it's like those cookies that my husband loves that I never make them anymore. Like the spice, like allspice cookie.
Yeah.
You know,
how you like cloves or
yes.
Yeah. Those are the aromas also from the cab that I was saying before, that they have this profile of spices after fermentation. You can just start feeling this a change and during the age, and also in the barrels. I have noticed that. Do you
Yeah.
like it?
I do. I very much like it. And what's interesting is it's by the nose. I kind of was expecting a very full-bodied wine, like very full-bodied, and it's a lively wine. It's a medium bodied wine, and the varietals that are in it are playing nicely together, which doesn't always happen. But they've married well. So like to me, I think you get the cab up front, and then it's kind of a little softer in the center, in the middle part of it. And then that Petit Verdot comes in and finishes off to give you that structure that just carries it through to a nice long finish.
Yeah. Yeah, the Merlot there, it's very shy, but usually when we're fermenting the Merlot and after fermentation during aging, it just during fermentation you have like more strawberry profile and also plum, and then it just I think that it gets a little bit lost in the between the Cab and the Petit Verdot, because those two has a lot of more personality. The Petit Verdot definitely kick the both of them. The
It's a
Cab,
bully. It's a
yeah,
bully.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, and I don't mean that it's not thin in the middle. I don't mean that. It's just like you get these aromas up front, and then on the front of the palate, you're getting Cab, and then it softens, and then you get the Petit Verdot to finish it through. So it's like a fun roller coaster of a wine, because it's got so much coming into it, so much of the flavors coming in from each from the Cab and the Petit Verdot, and then I think the aromatics also has some of that Merlot in it also. So it's a beautiful wine.
Thank you.
Right. So let's talk about what I was so excited for. And so I have the bottle for the Merlot, and it's got a locomotive on it. So we're gonna have to explain what the locomotive is. But then when you flip over the bottle and you look at the back, there is the Puro Vino label. So first, tell what is Puro Vino?
So Puro Vino is a technique that they developed in Italy in a university. I think the professor Fabio Mancarelli was the one leading the technique, the study on it. And the idea was to use ozone in order to sanitize the grapes. And I know that here people are using it already, and either you use it to sanitize your grape and then you continue the normal processing, or you use it and then you, in order to avoid or reduce the amount of SO2 that you're using in your wines. So when Ettore talked to me about this technique, he told me, we would like to try it because we can do the wines label organic and not use sulfur. And so we have this option for the customer. So the customer, if they don't want to have sulfate in the wine, they can choose, that we have a Chardonnay 0 and a Merlot 0. Then the other wines has sulfur. Of course, since we're made with organic grapes, we are not allowed to go up more than 100 ppm and the wines. So the Puro Vino method, we use it in these two grape varieties, in the Chardonnay and the Merlot. Merlot, because Ettore in Switzerland, he is in Ticino, that is one of the regions that is known by the Merlot. They make a lot of Merlot. And so that's why we started with these two, to bring the customer the possibility of having some wines without sulfate. In the organic label, you can have sulfur, but up to 10 ppm that happen naturally by yeast production. So the technique it's simple by itself. It's like we pick the grapes. They come, well, our vineyard is close to the winery, so that's very convenient. for the Chardonnay for oxidation or temperatures. No problem,
Right.
because we don't have to transport the grapes. It's like they're just nearby. They come in a trailer with bins, and bins for the ozone treatment, they are perforated, because the idea is to put those bins inside a container. It's a truck. We pay for the service. So as soon as the grapes come inside the container, they're going to have an atmosphere of ozone and then temperature control. They have to spend at least 12 hours there. Usually what we do is we pick them. We're going to have the grapes ozonated for the whole night. And then the next day we open the container, we let it breathe, and then we start the processing. Of course, cleaning, it's essential, because you don't want any contamination. So our Chardonnay Zero is it's coming from one plot, and it's we were going to pick those grapes. They are coming. We do the processing in the container, and then after that, we're going to do a normal crush, and that goes directly to one tank, and there's no blending there. It's only one single lot. That is different from the Chardonnay Pure, that it's a blend of different lots.
Okay.
And then after that, we didn't do anything special, except of being very careful, not using the same pumps for working if we do pump overs or so that's for the Chardonnay. For the Merlot, it's exactly the same. We pick up in those bins. They're half-ton bins that they go to the container. They will spend the whole night, and then next day we do the crushing. That we have like a normal crushing pad, or we do sorting table in order to take off all the leaves. We don't want any vegetal taste, so we make sure that. Oh, and we're a small facility, so we're willing to do it. So that's the way to go. I didn't mention, in the Chardonnay Zero, we do a normal pressing, and after the pressing, it goes to the tanks, and we're going to do the flotation technique, and then fermentation, yeast inoculation.
Oh, so you do inoculate. Okay. So I'm a little confused. Well, so you have the bins, the half-ton bins, they go into like not just a normal half-ton bin, it's a special half-ton bin so that the ozone can get on it. How does that kill? What is it doing that kills the yeast or the other microorganisms that are there? How does that work?
So the ozone is a gas. So having the holes in the bins just allow to have a better
ventilation.
Flow, ventilation. And the ozone, it has per se if you ozonate, that's one of the technique that we use also. Is used for cleaning, because you're sanitizing, you're cleaning, is by gassing that you kill microorganism.
Okay, and then it's just sitting there. It's sitting there overnight, and that's just what they've developed as the time frame to make sure everything's kicked the bucket.
They say that at least 12 hours. So what we do is we pick in the morning, they go inside, and then they will spend more than 12 hours. So it's good. It's good enough. And then usually, I mean, in a normal year, the grapes are coming very cold to them. To the container, so the container, it is already cold. So we also check temperature and the gas, and that is we have a company doing that. It's called Puro Vino, and usually is the way we go. They come, they install everything in the truck, and so we put it inside, and then we just work with the ozone.
Okay, and then so you're keeping it. Not that you're cold soaking, but you're keeping it at a colder temperature to prevent any fermentation from going on until they're all gone.
Yes. And then there was a concern at the beginning, thinking, oh, we're going to have, since you have half a ton there, that you can start having like problems with grapes leaking or juice. Never.
Okay.
In the years that we made it, never. Of course, probably if like this year, we had a very challenging year, because there was a heat wave here. So we have high temperature, 113, 110. it was 40, 45, 47 Celsius for 3 days.
Yeah.
So the sugar degrees were very fast up, and we have to, we're picking the grapes, and we have to kind of hurry up because we were not doing usually having cool temperatures in the morning. And the past year we were picking without any problems. This year, with the situation that we have, we were thinking, well, maybe probably we're going to start picking during the night if we have another scenario like this one, but we'll not. We didn't have the equipment to do it. And I was thinking that probably this year we didn't make the zero, so with the ozone treatment, it could have been a little bit more challenging because the grapes were coming already warm, so we're processing right away and trying to get everything right away and cool it down. That was more challenging, but other years we pick early in the morning and they come cold. So
Right. And
yeah.
is the Puro Vino something that, so like right now you have it on the two, are you looking to expand it to your whole lineup?
Not so far, because also we see that some people, they are interested in not having sulfur in the wine, and some others they don't. It's like it's good enough to have organic grapes, and that's the main concern. So some people, they like the idea of no sulfur. So I have customers that come and say, "Oh yeah, I like your wine because we don't have any headache," or so it's difficult to say because sulfur is like there's a lot of controversy about
Yes, well, that's why I
sulfur.
laughed when you said that I don't get a headache.
Yeah,
They say they
so
don't get a headache because
exactly. Exactly. You have people that they associate that right away with sulfur. Some others that they say that just drinking organic or made with organic grapes is good enough. And there's a lot of discussion about the sulfur use. There are other products that have more sulfur than the wine itself, and no problem. So, I mean, I was attending some seminars about that, and just of course, if you drink a bottle of wine, it's not the sulfur, it's the alcohol.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I have in somebody, I can't even say relationship or whatever, but there's somebody who is very much adamant that they are allergic to sulfur and that they can't drink red wine because of the sulfur. And I keep trying to explain to this person that, well, that you drink the wine and there's actually sulfur in there. And, usually levels are actually higher. And then and you live on ketchup, like puts ketchup on everything. And that has like, I don't know how much more time sulfur in it than a bottle of wine. I'm like, maybe you just need to increase the quality of the wine you're drinking, and B, maybe not drink the whole bottle. So
yeah. I think that the point of the whole bottle is like is essential. But yeah, there's a lot to say about it, and then we have to think that not everybody has the same, metabolism, and
right.
what I don't like is like the general statement for everybody, and so I think it's like we were saying, it's like sulfur. They have been using sulfur for years, and some products they have much more. I think that we have to be aware of that, and so,
Okay.
otherwise, as the way you were saying, it's the alcohol, the
Right.
whole, it's like
Okay. And now, so once you spray at the beginning, that's it? You don't have to use the ozone again throughout the rest of the process, or do you have to do it at another time in the
no,
processing?
only that time. The technique was at least what we have been doing is just only that time. Um, and also, well, I have to say that for the winemaking point of view, it's like it's challenging because you have to be even more. I mean, you are concerned about the product, if it's protected or not, because usually you have sulfur and you know that it will prevent oxidation, it will just prevent
Right.
microorganism growing. So so when you work with this technique at the beginning, we're like a little bit scared, and just work very well. But of course, as I was saying before, cleaning is like you have to be as clean as possible. Like most of the wineries, they wanna do that, but we try to keep it, as I said before, it's only one single lot, separate from the rest, having like a very special attention on those.
Right. And then how do you do like pump overs or punch downs or something like that?
Yeah, we do pump overs. In the case of the Chardonnay, we can do pump over close, and we sanitize the. Well, anyway, we sanitize the pumps um, every time that we use it. But then, let's say that we have four tanks of white, and we can use the same pump in the four tanks. In the case of the Chardonnay Zero, we start with that one, or we make sure that we're going to do the pump over for that one is previously sanitized, you know.
Mm.
So, but just, you know, in general, we don't have any situation and we haven't had any problem at the winery with volatile acidity or stuff like that. But then with this one, it's like with the zero, it's like or the attention goes to that one, you know, to make sure that
Right.
because you're not. I mean, in our case, and I have seen other wineries, they use the Puro Vino method, and then they add sulfur. So it's like a pre-cleaning technique. It's like
Oh, okay.
so. In our case, we wanted to not to use sulfur at all.
Yeah,
And
because
that
when a winery that uses sulfur adds sulfur, they're typically adding sulfur a couple of times
yeah.
throughout that winemaking process. So I would have thought that you ozoned it a couple of times throughout, but
No. In this case, when we're using sulfur for the other wines, we do it like you were saying in a couple of times. Like at the beginning when the grapes came in, we do that, and then after fermentation and malolactic fermentation, we're going to correct sulfur.
right.
But in the case of the ozones, we do it only one time, and then we have to be very careful. Also, because if we have wines, let's say that we're doing a pump over and we don't clean the machine, the pump, and we do it first with the wine that has already a little bit of sulfur from the beginning, that is not allowed, but you can have a contamination. So
Cross contamination.
yeah.
And then, so I read that you like also like the ozonated water can be filtered and then recycled and used again. So another positive of this Puro Vino process is like you can be saving water at the winery also.
Um, well, in fact, we use the gas for the destinations, like only that. Then we have an equipment machine that we can use ozone to clean. But then, in our case, I don't think we're saving water because we don't use any ozonated water for that. It's like we
Oh,
use the ozonated water to clean the equipment before starting harvest or for a specific situation.
oh, okay. It fascinates me. It just totally like, how does somebody come up with this concept and then, and uh, yeah, it's a leap of faith that, like you said, like this is these zeros, the zero labels are a little more nerve wracking for you throughout the whole winemaking process because you've got to make sure like each touch has to be so
Oh
figured.
yeah, of course. And imagine also that we're like a little bit nervous all the time when in the process in itself. You know, it's like you don't want
Right.
to have contamination, anything, because you know when you are allowed to use sulfur, in some way you're protected. Even if made with organic grapes, we are using less than in conventional, and that makes us a little bit more nervous because you want to have your wine perfect for the customer, but still, you know, using the Puro Vino technique is for me it's been like great because I was like you were mentioning, it's like excited or also interested about it, but also it's like it's challenging,
Right.
and I don't know if that then the customer can appreciate that as a
Mm.
product that is finished, and then it's saying okay, this they put a lot of I don't know effort, we put effort in everything that we do, but there's more risk if you want in the
Right, right. And now are you said you have a company that comes in to do the gassing for you. Is there like a thought process that in the future you're able to do that yourself at Ettore Winery?
um we're not so far we're not interested to do it by ourselves. We really like the service, but
Okay.
it's a container, and then you can you have a system to add the gas and then control the atmosphere by itself. I think it could be possible, but then I know there are other companies that are giving the same service. In fact, I went to a seminar at the beginning of the year that's called Future Drinks, where you can see all the new technologies that they have, and there was another company that was giving the same service. So it's possible, to just call them and they come and you have sometimes a bottling truck or a
Right.
filter
So
system coming in is exactly the same.
yeah,
And then
that's exactly what I'm thinking of is like in this harvest, like for us, like it was fast and furious, right? Because of the heat that came on and everything, right? It was kind of a lot of stuff coming in at the same time. And one of the things that's difficult when this happens is, some wineries may not have enough space, right? Because we're used to having, we're going to bring in this fruit, we're going to process this fruit. As this fruit is done processing, oh, we're going to harvest the next round, right?
yeah,
But when things happen like that, and then bottling trucks, sometimes it's not easy to always schedule that bottling truck. So that's what I was wondering is it, is that another issue of, you're harvesting, now I've got to make sure that this truck is here
yeah,
to
that's another thing to is definitely another thing to schedule and to prepare, and to do. I mean, logistic wise, in our case, because we're small and we have done it already, it's not a big logistic preparation about it, but not just to schedule it and know. Probably more people are using the same technique, that will start like being very competitive, and then it will be challenging. But so far so good. And yeah, it's like another service more. It's like, you were mentioning the bottling truck. Yeah, in the past, I mean, we have been bottling with a bottling truck, and we have to schedule, and we have to be sure about the quantities, and now we have our own bottling machine.
oh
um,
nice.
yeah, so we're going to we did already one bottling, and it's been nice, but also, well, you don't have to schedule that like in advance like you do with the bottling truck, and be with the pressure of maybe somebody else needed, and then you have to get it
Right.
first, or yeah.
Right. Oh, all right. So on your labels that are using the Puro Vino method, you also have a locomotive. So what is the story behind the locomotive? Because the other labels do not have that.
So the place where we are located in Hopland, there is the vineyard, but also there's an olive mill, and there's a farm close by. So in the same area, we have a big locomotive, and there was an artist that worked on that locomotive, painted. And when we started with the project, we really liked it, and we added. And then, of course, every year we just improve things. So we were improving our labels. At the beginning, they were a little bit shy, and then we decided to put more gold in it, change the colors. The Rosso, in fact, it has a complete different label, and now
Yes.
we changed it for the one that you have there. And so the locomotive at the beginning was in all the labels, and then we decided to have the logo Ettore that was bigger. So, and then the ones that remained with the locomotive logo were the zeros.
Oh, okay. Very cool. It's I it's like it's just there. It's in your, it's not like in your face, but you recognize that it's there. So it's something to catch your eye to know that it's a different label. Something is different about it.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's like, well, well, there was the 2018, all the 18 wines had the locomotive. Then we decided to change. You have the Rosso that you have there is 2018. That one we changed the label during the process, so it doesn't have the locomotive, but it was like we like it at the beginning, and it was like Ettore arriving in the locomotive.
Awesome. And then you also have the
The cab.
signature cab,
Yeah, that
the
one.
signature cab.
Yeah.
And then So, and then the back labels, so the ones that are 0 have the Puro Vino also on it, but you are advertising the organic certification also.
Yeah, that's
So,
CCOF. Yeah, we work as a private
mm.
certification. We work every
And
year with.
do you know approximately how many wineries have that certification in Mendocino County?
No, because other wineries can use the other certification. So I don't know how many through CCOF. I couldn't tell a number. Probably
Okay.
there's more now than when we started in 2018, because I know they are growing. But you can have the other certification by the USDA certification.
Okay.
We have this one, and we have been working since 2018. And before they were working with the other brand that they have here. They were working with a CCOF, so they know the certification, and they know us too.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think it's such a cool concept. I mean, I'm all for, organic and, caring about I think the adage of you can't make great wine from, bad fruit is very, very true. Um, but you have to care about the fruit, and that does this. And the whole I mean, I'm such a science geek that this whole Puro Vino thing is so cool to
Yeah.
me. Do you have any like videos or something? Like, can somebody go to your website or a YouTube channel or something where you're
Sure.
demonstrating it?
No, we don't. We didn't. Yeah, no, we didn't. I think it's not on the website. Probably if I go to my records, I have videos, because I was so excited, like you were saying, that like to try the new technique. So yeah, I have some, but not on the website.
I think you need to put that up there
Yeah,
because
I
I
will.
think,
Yeah, definitely we should. Yeah.
have a link to it or to the YouTube or whatever, because I think it would be pretty cool because it's I don't want to say unique, but it is kind of unique. I don't know anybody else who is
No,
wineries that I've spoken to that have
yeah.
that do
In
it.
in Mendocino, I don't know, but in Napa, I know, and I visited a few that they were using the technique. I don't know in Mendocino now if they're using it. But yeah, for me, it was also, I was coming, well, it was my first year here too when I came and I started. And I didn't know it from Europe because it was born there. So I didn't
Right.
know it either. Like other techniques that they're using there, that they're like, wow.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing the wines and the process and everything. And how can do you guys accept people tastings? Do you do tastings with you? How can people find
Oh, so
a tour?
so far we are working on we don't have a tasting room yet, but we do winemaker dinners, and it's possible also if you schedule with us, we can prepare something, but we don't have a tasting room by itself so far. It's going to come sometime, but also it's like everything was complicated with the COVID thing happening.
Yeah.
So everything was a little bit stopped, and then we're pretty new. We've been here for 4 years, and we're happy. We're just developing everything. We are also happy for the score that we are having, and that make us being like even more motivated. Talking to people and having good feedback. So I really appreciate it. And I thank you also
Mm.
for this opportunity. And
Absolutely. And
that I
how can they order? Can they go to your website? How are you basically selling at this point? Just through the
You can
website?
order, yeah, you can order on the website. You can call me and I prepare your order. Yeah, but basically on the website, yeah. And
Okay.
we are selling in some restaurants in LA, and in the Bay Area. We have a distributor, so yeah, we're selling in that way. Or you can go directly to the website and we prepare an order. There's a wine club that has options also, different collections, so you can,
Mm.
even if you don't like the proposals of the wine club, you can customize your order and we can prepare it for you. So, no,
Are
no
the
problem.
restaurants that you're selling to, are they interested in the Puro Vino ones?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
interested. Yeah. well, we were presenting the wines, and they like also they like a lot the concept of made with organic grapes. I mean, having organic
Right.
years, um, and having also an Italian touch in the winemaking. We have been doing a lot of wine tasting, and people like, and that's for us the most important. You know, people like, and they want to share it with family or friends. That's the coolest part. But yeah, that they also, there's some people when we do events that they're curious about the technique, and we talk. Some others they don't they don't have
Yeah,
any.
we're everybody's not science dorks like like
Yeah, it's like yeah, I totally get into, you know, when we have events that you sometimes find people that then want to know more about the story of the project,
Mhm.
and some others they want to know more techniques, or like winemakers is like, I'm very happy when people come and ask for details, you know, teach the CDT the what you do is like, did you use any particular technique, what is a flotation, you know, so all these questions come
Yeah,
up with people, and of course it's nice because you have a lot of variety in the
right.
questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and explaining the system and allowing me the amazing opportunity to try all of these wines. I loved the pure, and the rosso is lovely, and it's going to be gone by the end of the night. So but I will be sharing with my husband.
Yeah,
But
let me know about what you think about the others.
yes, I absolutely will. I absolutely will. So thank you so much. And I'll raise my glass as I do always. And I will say, Slancha, you can
Don't
raise the
have my
bottle. There you go.
yeah, I have the
Slancha.
serve here, but thank you very much for the opportunity. Nice to meet you. And if you
Nice
want
to
to
meet
come
you.
and see the property, you just call me, and we can do that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I do have to get a trip. I do have to make a trip up there and see some of these other wineries. So I'll be taking advantage of that offer. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Cool. Okay. Great.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.